welcome to It's Our Time with your host, Edidiong Obot, and I'm here with a wonderful friend of mine, Fola Lawson. Thank you for coming on the show today. So, Fola, I'm going to get straight into it. Tell us a little about yourself, you know, what school you went to, degrees you have, and what you're doing now.
Okay. Well, my name is Fola Lawson. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay.
I moved here when I was 12 exactly. Went to O'Donnell Middle School, Taylor High School.
Taylor.
Eventually graduated and went to University of Houston.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs, yes. Where I studied accounting and did the professional program in accountancy. And so I got my bachelor's degree and master's degree in accounting.
Wow.
And started off my career in public accounting, doing audit of private and publicly held firms. I know there's a lot of us, I have a lot of peers who are in that industry, so a lot of people know what that entails. And it was pretty interesting, and now I'm an accountant and a CPA. I work in corporate America, and that's just a little bit. Any other questions you have, feel free to ask.
So, is it that when you were growing up, you always wanted to do accounting? Like, how did you choose that major at U of H? You're like, oh, you know what, I want to do accounting. Like, how?
Okay. So my dad is he's a civil engineer in Nigeria, and he's always been on myself and my brothers about what are we going to do in college, what are we going to do when we graduate. And so I knew I was good at math, but I was also kind of lazy. I didn't want to do anything related to engineering, and I really liked architecture because I was good at drawing. I had artistic skills, but architecture, I always felt that, you know, it could be a field where even if I was good at what I did, I may not be compensated as well, because it just seemed to me at a young age to be very subjective.
Right.
If clients or whomever didn't understand or like your design, then maybe you wouldn't get a lot of work. So I just always had that understanding at a really young age, and so I kind of just there was no Google at the time either, so I didn't Google anything, to be honest.
Encyclopedia.
I kind of just did a lot of searches, what I can, research, and you know, I figured out what careers had numbers involved, and somehow I ran across accounting, so I signed up for an accounting. I actually piggyback. I started my college education at Houston Community College here in Town and Country, and so I took an accounting course, and you know, I did really well. It came naturally to me. I passed with flying colors, so I just stayed on that path. And it really worked out because at the time, accounting was becoming a huger and huger career. You had, it was right before the 2008 crisis. It was right at the brink of Sarbanes-Oxley SOX requirements. So the job field for accounting was really, really large. There were a lot of internships. So I was at the right place at the right time. It was by coincidence, to be completely honest.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so then from there you're like, okay, I'm gonna continue to pursue that, and you got to U of H and you're like, all right, it's happening. This is it.
Exactly. I got to U of H and I got an internship.
Where'd you intern at?
I interned at Grant Thornton. Was my very first internship, and it was a paid internship.
Wow, you know, cool, paid internship.
I was before that. I mean, I was always working throughout college. I was a commuter student. I was working at Waffle House, and then I got a job at WAMU at the time as a teller. So I was making $11, $10 an hour, you know, just getting by.
Yeah.
And I got my first real internship salaried, and I was just like, wow, this is really real. You know, you could go to college and really transition your life. So it was more of a confidence boost. It just reinforced me to keep doing what I was doing, and I just stuck with it.
Okay. So y'all, he is an accountant. Not one degree, but 2 degrees. So talk to me about that. So is it in accounting that, you know, you have to go and get your master's, or is it, can you do just your undergrad and be okay with that? And like, kind of twofold, what made you say, you know what, I want to go further and get my master's? That's
a good question. A very good question. So in accounting, you could just get a bachelor's degree and get a job in corporate America and work as an accountant in any company. But U of H has a really good program, and they expose you to a lot in career services. They also had companies that would come down to us and talk to us once a week about different career tracks and what was required. So we weren't just getting into the workplace and then having to figure out our lives. And so if you want to have your CPA, it's required by the state of Texas to have 150 credit hours. I think when you graduate with a bachelor's degree, you have about 122, somewhere around that range. So basically, you need another 30 hours. You could take extra courses, or you could get an MBA, you could get a second degree. But a lot of colleges now have 5-year degree programs where if you get accepted into a program, instead of having to graduate, apply for graduate school, and then spend another 2 years in college, they double count some of your courses. It's like an accelerated track. And so that allows you to get the required hours to sit for the CPA exam, which was the goal. So at this point, being recruited in college, talking to both companies and firms, they basically told you, if you'd like to get your CPA license, this is what you had to do. And so for me, I understood I had to get my CPA, and my mindset was, I'm not a huge fan of school. I've always done fairly well in school, but I wanted to get it over with. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit an extra year, do the 5-year course, try to sit for the CPA exam, and that's exactly what I did.
Okay. So, kind of want to switch gears here. So you can tell that this guy is freshly dressed here. Got the jacket going on, got the hat going.
I appreciate it.
So tell me about this style that you got going on. What is this?
I think that we all have style. I mean, look at you. You're very stylish yourself today. Don't hurt us. Everybody has style. I think style is something that comes natural to everyone. It's just an artistic way of expressing yourself. The way I like to think about it is, almost in everything we do, we're controlled to an extent. You have a job, you have to show up at 8 o'clock. You get on the road, you have to drive 40 miles an hour. If you're on the highway at 65, stop at the red light. You have to leave work at a certain time for lunch, or you have to do certain things in every aspect of your life.
Right.
And so style is just like the one place where every day, not just sometimes, not just yesterday or once a year or like a birthday where you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Every day you choose what to wear and how to express yourself. And I also find that it translates to your mood and how you feel. Sometimes I dress a certain way and it makes me feel a certain way, and vice versa. And so, I started to realize that, I would say later in my teen years and going into college, and I just started embracing style more and more. So today it's just, for me, it's just expressing who I am, and I also feel it's a way to demand respect.
Yeah.
Being a young black male in corporate America, just in my personal opinion, you don't always get the respect that you deserve. So dressing the part to me has always been a way to, without speaking, just walking in a room and have people take you seriously.
Right.
So, and it's very easy to do. I mean, you just pick out clothes that you like and you wear them. That's it.
So y'all, Fola's being a little modest here. Fola actually owns a fashion line or clothing line per se. So you heard all of his gist about his style and how he likes it. Now I want to ask about your actual company. Okay. What is it? How did you get into it? What are you doing now?
That's a heavy question. So I can't say I always wanted to start a menswear business. I own a menswear brand called Southern Gents, but it kind of fell into place and everything, it's amazing how things work. So I was working in public accounting and I was auditing different companies. And I got tired of, being behind the scenes, which is what public accounting is. You're making sure companies are following all the rules and abiding by, whatever legislature is out there. But what I saw is people running businesses and how business was done and how much potential was out there. Being able to see an entire company's assets or, cash flow, how they're spending their money, how they project future earnings. And it started making me curious and feel like I can do more. Yeah. And so I started thinking about things that I can do, and I've always kind of been entrepreneur. In high school at Taylor, I was cutting the whole football locker room's hair almost.
Really?
I had a lot of friends.
Cool.
I would charge them $5 and they would come over and I just give everybody
get a little taper fade going.
I got you anytime. And so, so I started getting more and more curious about business. And luckily for me, I'm a very practical person. And so there were a lot of businesses that I thought about, and actually owning barbershops was one. But I never owned a barbershop because I felt like it was a career path where you kind of had to be in the industry to make a lot of money, to make a decent amount of money, something sizable. So what I mean by that is, because the way that the barber shops are set up, boot rent is paid, you have to actively be in the barbershop managing to have a properly run barbershop, and I understood that, so that didn't work. And then there were other ideas that I thought about. Restaurants just required so much capital. I just, at the time I was maybe 22, 23. I didn't know how I would come about it. And so, we just talked about style. I started to get in style. And this was back in 2011, 2012. The world was very different. Instagram wasn't really a thing. There was no H&M in Houston.
None.
And so the things that I would like to wear, like the clothes, the type of ties, stuff that I would like to wear to work, I couldn't find them anywhere. And so what I did was I talked to my best friend, Tunde, my brother, and we talked about starting some kind of menswear. It wasn't even a brand at the time, it was just an idea, because just as there weren't a lot of stores that catered to menswear, there weren't a lot of guys who were into taking pride in their appearance. So we were like, hey, let's try to get more men taking more pride in their self-esteem, looking nicer, and also being informative, how to properly tailor your shirt, how to match a tie and a blazer. So what we did was we started a blog. It's called Southern Gents. We started a blog, and we started to do like networking mixes where we would have our friends and young professionals. We'd find a nice venue, and our thought was, there's a lot of young professionals in Houston. All we have to do is create something nice that they'd want to attend, and that would start to build and motivate people to not only come out, and when they see people looking the part and dressing nice, they would get curious. And so that's what we did. We did a couple of events, and they were a huge success.
I've been to a couple of those, and they were pretty dope. They were pretty dope.
So we did that, and then we did that for about a year, and we started thinking of what the next step was and how to basically make our brand a reality. And so we thought about, creating a menswear brand, because again, we couldn't find what we wanted to wear. We we were having to order stuff online. It would take days to get here. So we started an accessory brand, and it was called Southern Gents. We started with 5 ties, 5 bow ties, and lapel pins. It was a really small collection, and we just kind of started it, and ever since then we never looked back.
Okay. So where can we get some of these accessories and a fit like yours? Okay,
so the first thing I recommend anybody who is curious to do is to follow our Instagram page at @s_gents, or you could just search Southern Gents, it'll come up. It's a page where we try to post a lot of menswear styles that we curate ourselves. We find local influences, or we also work with influencers across the world or across the country, in LA, in the UK, in Miami. And so basically what we're doing is we're showcasing our products, and we're showcasing different styles and something for men to aspire to. So it's basically like a social media magazine. And then you can find our website at www.s-gents.com, or you could simply Google Southern Gents and we'll come up.
Okay.
But make sure to follow our Instagram page.
Follow their Instagram page, y'all. So also, who are some influencers that have worn Southern Gents, whether they're local or not?
I hope I don't leave anyone out, but one of our biggest influencers, we have 2 local influencers who are pretty huge. Travis White is one of them.
Okay.
Irvin Randall, who's an older gentleman, gets a lot of attention. We have Blake Scott in Los Angeles. I can't remember names of some of our New York bloggers, but and then we have Carlos Roque, who is in the United Kingdom, and we're just trying to be worldwide. And national, and put on for the culture.
Put on for the culture. I like that. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. You are Nigerian,
I am.
Right? Born there, came here at 12. And so with this success that you've had so far as an accountant and also as an entrepreneur, what are some ways that you give back to the Nigerian community and just the Houston local community?
Right now, to be honest, I'm not very involved in the community just because for time constraint. You know, I still work a full-time job in corporate America, and I run the brand at night, not by myself, but my business partners, of course. And so it doesn't allow a lot of time. You know, I attend some events when I get the chance, or some charitable events. But right now, our focus is to really grow our brand and be in a position where we could actually employ our fellow citizens and people from our community, and also be able to do more charity donations, giveaways to a lot of students. That's something that we are really looking forward to being in a position to do. And so right now we're just focused and have our heads in the ground, because we really want to be in a position where we can make a huge impact, and we're just not there yet.
Okay, so let's stay right there on that topic. You're talking about entrepreneurship, because with entrepreneurship you have to do a lot more than what people would just imagine, right? So there's a lot of sacrificing in the beginning, and so that you can get to those, you know, charities and things like that. So talk to me about, like, when you decided to, when you and your business partner start this brand, what were some of the challenges that you guys faced?
Man, there are a lot of challenges. We still have challenges even today, and challenges keep coming, and that's what being in business is all about. You know, being able to know that you're going to have these challenges, but you have to have the power, the patience, and just the faith to overcome them. To be honest, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into at all. When we started the brand, our goal was to put first of all, put high quality products out, things that we would wear and our friends would wear. So we design, I'm the main designer for Southern Gents, so I design things that we would wear. If we wouldn't wear it, I wouldn't design it. And so another thing is to make the products affordable, because a lot of guys, a lot of people, period, don't dress as nice as they want to simply because they can't afford the nicer items. So our whole vision is, how can we look the part without breaking the bank? That's what Southern Gents is all about, you know, because we're a very, very price conscious brand, you know, quality. So we're focused on quality, so we're not, you know, really affordable. We're not more on the H&M side, but we're focused on quality, things that you could wear and it would literally last you a lifetime. So we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. We started this brand, and our goal was to start with accessories and eventually get some distribution, end up in JCPenney, Macy's, and all that type of stuff. Fast forward to the industry and where we are today, it's a completely different landscape. You have retailers who are shutting down left and right. And so, you know, we got to a point in our brand where I even questioned if we were going to survive, because based on what we thought we were getting ourselves into, or how we had envisioned the brand, it just didn't seem to turn out that way. And we made it into, a couple of summers ago, we made it into a Macy's workshop. So we basically were on the brink of getting admitted into Macy's as one of their vendors and brand selected, but we unfortunately didn't get chosen. And it was a huge blow for us, because it was basically what we worked up on and worked to accomplish. And so we had to completely pivot and switch. And what we said is, hey, now we have an online market. Today you could bring consumers to you. So we said, you know, we basically built our brand into getting admitted into distribution channels. Let's make the distribution and the consumers come to us. And so that's what we've been focused on. So speaking of challenges, there's a lot of challenges. Capital is a huge one. Just equity, sweat equity, you know, being able to get by from day to day. Having vision and strategy is huge. You know, knowing how to define success at a very young stage for any company is very important, because you're not going to do it with dollars. You know, you can't look at dollars and say, hey, we made $1,000 or $10,000 than we did last month. That's not always a measure for success. So we know we've had to come up with these different things to kind of keep our morale high and keep waving the flag and keep pushing forward for what we believe in. Okay.
So as a young professional, just recapping here, you're an accountant, you're an entrepreneur. How do you find balance between work, life? You know, you have a family, but you also have your own business, and you also have a full-time job. So how do you work that balance out?
It's tough. I don't even know if balance is the right word, because it's all intertwined, you know,
Right.
work, family, business. And so you have to be realistic, and I think you have to be self-aware. First of all, if you're going to start a business, you have to know that it's going to require a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And so what I do is, you know, I try to weave it into my life just like, you know, I would do a job, because it is essentially a job. So every day I go to work from 9 to 5. I get home. I also have a job that doesn't require a lot of me intentionally. By require a lot of me, meaning, you know, I work hard at my job, but I don't work long hours. I've had jobs where I've spent 12 hours at the office. I can't afford to do that these days. So I have a job where I have a very good work-life balance, if you would. And so, you know, I work on my business in the evenings and on the weekends, and, you know, I try to make downtime for just personal R&R, you know, going to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, spending time with family, with the wife, you know, making sure we have that quality time, because you need that time away from all the work and all the chaos just to decompress, exhale,
relax a little bit,
you know, and get back to it.
And
you know,
then,
you know, and I feel like I'm always working. If I go to an event, for what I do, it's style and it's appearance, right? So I look at what men are wearing, you know, how people like to carry themselves, how the world changed, music, what music is influencing people, events, awards, what people get excited about. So, I mean, you have to fall in love with your work. And so, in a sense, it doesn't become work. It's just part of what you do every day without thinking about it.
Okay. Well, y'all, we are on It's Our Time. We're going to take a quick break, so stay tuned. We're back with It's Our Time. Again, I'm your host, Edidiong Obot, and I'm with Fola Lawson. And we've just been talking about entrepreneurship for the most part and just finding that right balance. I'm going to move on to my next question for you is, how do you feel about having 2 careers going at the same time, as an accountant and also as a business owner in fashion? Now, fashion is something that's very kind of like hit or miss. So how do you find that, like, I guess, I don't know if I would call it balance, but how do you feel about having 2 careers going on at the same time? I don't, and I'm going to preface this with, in Nigerian culture for the most part, you usually kind of have like a focused career, like I'm going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or this or that, in your case an accountant, and you usually are in that field for X amount of years. Sometimes you may be able to get a business or not, but you know that's your main thing. So for you, how do you feel about having those 2 careers going at the same time? And is it something that you would ever leave your full-time job to do entrepreneurship full-time?
Well, I'm going to plead the fifth on that, so as not to incriminate myself.
Okay, no problem.
But I don't know if you mean 2 careers or, you know, a career in a business. Either way, 2 careers. I'll answer them both. I definitely think that is the way of the world, and that is just the reality. In the sense of 2 careers, I'll start with 2 careers so I don't get off a tangent. I think that for a lot of us, you asked me at the beginning of the interview, how did I get into accounting? It was never really something that I always wanted to do.
Right.
You know, I just knew that, you know, I really wanted to make my parents proud, first of all. And I personally didn't like the situation that I was in. So I wanted a viable income. I wanted a steady career. And so I think a lot of young people sometimes are either pushed or end up in a career that they may not enjoy. And so, you know, we live in a world where cost of living is high, so you have to be practical. You can't just quit your job and say, oh, okay, I'm going to become a dancer and I'm going to do ballet classes.
Right.
And so you have to be practical. Sometimes that is what it takes, because You're getting experience at the other thing. Meanwhile, you're still holding on to the one career that pays your bills and provides you a decent standard of living, and sometimes even affords you that other opportunities. So maybe you went to school for nursing, but you decided you wanted to become a chef, or you have to put your way through culinary school. And so it's just the reality of the situation. And then on the other sense, in two careers, in the sense of business and having a career, it's pretty much the same, because a lot of times you have to fund your business, or your business, it takes time to grow a small business.
Right.
And this is a very good question. I like to dig in deeper. In your early years of business, I believe very, very much in the concept of reinvestment. And I don't think a lot of people understand what that really means, which basically means no matter how well your business is doing, I don't believe that you should touch or basically distribute a lot of that income to yourself. You should be focusing on growing your business, because eventually you want your business to be self-sustainable,
right,
to where you don't have to inject any capital, you don't need investors or debt or loan or those type of things. And so if you have a small business and you focus on growing it, and it may be making money or may not be making any money, however, if you have a business and you're taking profits from that business in the early stages, you're not able to grow. It slows you down, because you could have put all that money back in your business. So sometimes, depending on the nature of work that you're doing in business, I think it's a quicker way to grow your small business if you have some other type of income, because you really allow that other business to grow organically.
Okay.
Secondly, I think that when you have this other business, not needing the income from your business, which you're trying to grow, it puts you in a different mindset, because you're more patient. You could be more strategic.
Right.
Whereas if you in a position where you're lucky enough to be able to hold a job and still run your business, if you have to live off your business income, you can't be as creative strategically. You can't reinvest. Because sometimes we have to do things that don't really add value today. You know, you may need to do a partnership and fly to go meet someone in New York. It may cost you $5,000 to do that and to undertake a huge project. Well, if you're just living on your business income, it's not possible.
Right.
And so these are the type of things that really catapult businesses and take them to new heights, is just creating enough room for reinvestment. So I think that, you know, we're lucky enough to have the internet and have something to where you could almost be in two places at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, if you own a dry cleaning shop, you can hire people, you can have the website running, you could have strong Yelp reviews, and if you are able to hold a job, then do that.
Right.
So it's just something that we have to grow accustomed to and embrace.
Okay. So one of my last questions.
Okay.
All of the stuff that you talked about, accounting, business, heavy focus on that. What do you like to do for fun?
Oh man, fun. If I have fun these days, I like to go to happy hour. I'm a social person. I like to meet with people that are interesting. So going to events is things that I like to do for fun, or attending football games, concerts. I just like to be out, because I spend 8 hours of my day in front of a computer, another 5 in a photo studio and a computer. So I'm always indoors. So whenever I could get a chance to just get out, meet people, and it's inspiring. You know, that's how we get creative, and that's what motivates and inspires us. Anybody who has a business idea was inspired by something or someone else.
Right.
You know, so when I'm not working, I'm out just, you know, people watching, people like
being
you.
a socialite. Well, thank you so much again, Fola, for joining us on
Thank you so much for having me.
Our Time. Again, if you want to follow Southern Gents on Instagram, it is at @s_gents. Correct? And then you can go to the website. What's the website again?
www.s-gents.com.
Okay, and make sure y'all get, you know, your holiday wear if you're trying to order anything. So try to get that. Are there any discounts for holiday stuff?
We have discounts. You can use Dear Santa. You can get a 20% discount through the end of the year. So there you have it.
See what I did there for y'all? I looked out for you guys.
You put me on the spot.
And again, you know, we're here. It's Our Time on Tuesdays and Fridays, 4:30. Again, I'm your host, Edidiong Obot, and see you next time.